Hello everyone, this is Ruchi Thakur, Assistant Professor in BRN Group of Colleges, Jaipur. I welcome you all to gurukpo.com. Welcome to my first lecture on balance sheet. Balance sheet as per Companies Act 2013. As you all are aware, Companies Act 2013 has given Schedule 3 as the format of vertical balance sheet which every company has to follow. So, earlier we used to follow the format of T format of balance sheet where assets and liabilities both were shown in different sides. Now, this is the vertical format of balance sheet which we have to follow while preparing the financials of any company which we are going to make. Okay, so let's understand the format. The format of balance sheet is divided into two sections. Okay, this is page number 1 and this is page number 2. Do not confuse yourself by making two sections of the page. Okay, this is page number 1, this is page number 2. So in this lecture I am going to explain you the equity and liability side. It is similar to the T format. The only thing is that the classifications are more precise now. Okay, let's start. First is equity and liability. That is the heading of the liability side. Like in the T form of balance sheet, we used to write liabilities and assets. Here we are writing equity and liability. Why? Because liabilities are the outside liabilities and equity is the owners of the company. Okay, so that is why the heading is equity and liability. Equity includes shareholders funds. Who are the shareholders of the company? Shareholders are the company owners. That means equity shareholders and preference shares of the company are the owners of the company. You all are aware about the basic concept. So, shareholders funds first of all comprises of share capital. Now, share capital can be equity share capital or preference share capital. There are types also available for preference share capital. So, we have to look into it and we have to write the complete details of authorized share capital, of the subscribed share capital, paid, unpaid, all those things. Okay. One important thing to note is that we are not supposed to write the detail of each and every heading below this. We have to write the note number and we have to make a separate working note for each and every detail of each and every heading. Okay, that means for share capital you will write note number 1 and then you have to make note number 1 where you are giving details of what are the components inside the share capital. It can be equity share capital, it can be preference share capital, authorized, issued, subscribed and paid, unpaid. Okay, let's move ahead. The next part is reserves and surplus. Obviously, reserves and surplus earlier also was a part of balance sheet in the liability side. This is included in shareholders funds. There is no more details required. You know the components which form part of reserves and surplus. So, that also you have to write in the note number 2 of balance sheet, that is notes to accounts. Note number 2 you have to write the details of all the reserves which are available with the amount. Okay, next is money received against share warrant. You know what is share warrant? Share warrant is the share, equity share of the company, but the name of the person to whom it belongs is not written on it. That means the share warrant is just like a bearer check. The one who has it is the owner of the share. So, this is the share warrant. So, money received against the share warrant is to be separately shown under Companies Act. Okay. Next, share application money received pending allotment. What does this mean? Share application money received pending allotment means, for example, a company has made a fresh issue. Okay. Now, the issue is made, we have announced in the primary market that I want to issue 1 lakh equity shares of ₹10 each at 20 premium. Okay. So, this is the issue which I have made. Now there are applications which are being received from all over the country, those who are interested in purchasing my shares. In between, 31st March has arrived. Now I have application money received from some people, but I have not yet decided to whom am I supposed to actually allocate those shares. So that money which is pending allotment, which is not yet my share capital, that has to be shown separately in shareholders funds, because finally they are going to be my shareholders, and if they are not going to be my shareholders, I have to refund them. Whatever it may be, on 31st March I have to show it in shareholders funds. Okay. So that will be share application money received pending allotment. If I talk from exam point of view, you will have only two headings which will be there in the question: share capital and reserves and surplus. The other two headings are just to be written in the format to show that you know the format. Okay. So for good presentation purpose, you have to just write the headings which are there, but amounts will be there only in share capital and reserves and surplus, because these two items are not generally asked in the examination. Okay. Next, non-current liabilities. Now after completing the shareholders funds, the remaining liabilities are divided into two parts: non-current liabilities and current liabilities. If you clearly observe it, you will see that all the long items are in long term, are in the non-current liabilities, and all the short items are in current liabilities. That means if you have long term borrowings, you have to show it in non-current liabilities, but if you have short term borrowings, show it in current liabilities. If you have DTL, what is DTL? Deferred tax liability. Okay. To tell you what is deferred tax liability, I will require another video lecture. So I will give you the link below whenever I make a lecture on deferred tax liability. But you now, for your understanding, you have to just understand that it is some kind of tax which is going to be paid in future, that is why is my liability. Okay. Next, instead of that, here you have to show trade payable. Next, other long term liability other than the borrowings and deferred tax liability, any other liability which is long term is to be shown in other long term liabilities, and the same goes here, other current liabilities. Last item, long term provisions. The provisions which are created and which are for more than 1 year are to be shown in long term provisions, and the short ones are to be shown in short term provisions. So the format is quite easy, but the only thing you have to remember is the format has to be as it is in the question. Okay. That means whenever you make a balance sheet under Companies Act, this is the only thing you have to write in the liability side. Any other details which are available regarding each and every heading, you have to write it in notes. And mind you, you have to also follow the order which is shown here. That means always you have to show long term borrowings first in non-current liabilities, then deferred tax liabilities, then other long term liabilities, and then other long term provisions. So do not mismatch the orders, otherwise you will lose marks. It is very easy, it is not at all difficult, and if you once write non-current liabilities, the same goes with current liabilities. Only word you have to change is change the long to short and change deferred tax liability to trade payables, and your answer will be done. Okay. So this was the liability side of balance sheet of Companies Act. In the next lecture, I will show you how to understand the asset side of balance sheet as per Companies Act. Please do comment below the topics which you want me to teach you. Also, please do give your reviews regarding these video lectures, and do not forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you.